So this video might seem controversial to a lot of PC builders, especially those who like RGB. Now why do I say that? Well, it's because I know a lot of people think that having loads of RGB is good or it looks cool or whatnot. But before I start saying my thoughts on this, I just want to get a few things straight. First, this is of course only my opinion, so I respect everybody else's opinion of course, and I hope you guys do the same towards me too. Secondly, if you're gonna express your opinion, feel free to do so in the comments in a respectful way. I just wanted to get those two things out of the way before I get started, because I know a lot of people will probably misunderstand what I'm gonna say as a sort of attack or something like that, but no, this is just me sharing my own design opinions and whatnot and thoughts on PC RGB. But anyhow, without wasting any more time, let's get started. So, RGB, at least in my opinion, RGB is completely unnecessary in PCs. You can build a complete beast of a PC without needing any RGB. And I absolutely hate how some people prioritize RGB and think that you automatically need to have RGB to have your PC look cool or be powerful or whatnot. But that's not true. And especially for the people that think that this unicorn puke rainbow sort of RGB is actually necessary or good, just like ZTT Builds said in one of his shorts. It does not look good. At least in my opinion, it does not look good at all. It just looks overwhelming. It doesn't look appealing to the eye. Sure, I understand if you would add like a subtle RGB, or I don't know, let's say a subtle white or a subtle gray, or maybe a subtle purple RGB, or for example how I have it in my main keyboard and mouse, where I have a subtle purple and a subtle green RGB. I am all for that. I am all for simple RGB, just simple light RGBs that are nice to the eye, that are gentle to the eye, and that look very nicely with everything else in your build. I absolutely support that, and I am absolutely all for that. But I absolutely think that there's a point where people add way too much RGB. I understand if, let's say, your GPU has some RGB, or your RAM has some RGB, or maybe your power supply has some RGB, but then you're going onto your CPU cooler, and then your motherboard, and then I believe there's also some NVMe coolers that also have RGB on them, and in my opinion, that's the point where you gotta tell yourself you're going way too far. At least in my opinion, you just gotta tell yourself that you're going way too far. Because I completely understand if you have RGB, let's say on your case, or on your GPU, or on your RAM, but your motherboard, heck, even your CPU cooler, which I don't really think even fits that well to have RGB on it, or if you do have RGB on it, then I think it only suits it if you have a sort of subtle single color RGB on it, not some kind of multicolor RGB on it. And overall, I think that RGB is way too overrated in all kinds of builds. Because number one, way too much RGB is not appealing to the eye at all, at least in my opinion. Number two, RGB components are not necessary and do not cause any FPS difference, yet still cost quite a lot more than non-RGB components. And number three, if you actually want to control that RGB and you don't want to connect some kind of controller or remote or something to it, you need to install additional software that will slow down your PC just to control that RGB. But anyhow, yeah, just like I said before, this is all my opinion. I respect all your opinions because I know people are quite fired up on this topic and quite divided on this topic as well. And so I hope that you guys, just like I as well, that you guys will respect my opinion as well.